Listen to this. When most people search Lil Baby today, they expect to see headlines about chart-topping albums, sold-out tours, and platinum records. But hold up, there's another conversation happening that has nothing to do with streaming numbers. More and more people are talking about the influence he's built throughout Atlanta and the growing belief that his success extends far beyond music. That conversation isn't just internet hype, it reflects how deeply connected his name has become to the city that raised him. And that's exactly what we're unpacking today. This isn't just the story of another superstar rapper, it's the story of how Dominique Armani Jones transformed his reputation, his business mindset, and his hometown ties into something that resembles a long-term empire rather than a typical music career. If you're new to the channel, you're in the right place, because today we're taking a closer look at the man the world knows as Lil Baby. We're going beyond the hit records and viral moments to explore the foundation behind his success. From his early neighborhood in Southwest Atlanta to his business ventures, partnerships, investments, and lasting impact on his community, we're connecting every piece of the puzzle. Because when you understand where he came from, the scale of what he's accomplished makes even more sense. Atlanta has never been just another city in hip-hop. It has been one of the culture's most powerful engines for generations. The city has produced legendary artists across multiple eras while continuing to shape the sound of modern rap. At the same time, Atlanta is a place filled with sharp contrasts, where wealth and opportunity can exist only a few miles away from neighborhoods facing daily economic struggles. Those realities helped shape the environment that influenced Dominique Jones during his childhood. To understand his rise, you first have to understand the streets that molded his perspective. Lil Baby was born on December 3, 1994, in the Oakland City neighborhood of Southwest Atlanta, Georgia. It wasn't the glamorous side of the city that tourists usually see. It was a community where families worked hard simply to make it through each day. For many young people growing up there, the pressure of street life wasn't a distant possibility. It was part of everyday life. Dominique was raised primarily by his mother after his father left when he was just 2 years old, leaving her to care for him and his 2 sisters. Experiences like that can shape a child's outlook in lasting ways. By many accounts, Dominique was naturally intelligent, but traditional classrooms struggled to keep his attention, setting the stage for a path that would eventually change his life forever. Hold up, because this is where Lil Baby's story starts taking a dramatic turn. Even as a teenager, people around Dominique Jones noticed he had a sharp mind. He learned quickly, recognized patterns, and carried the kind of instincts that couldn't be taught in a classroom. Traditional schools simply wasn't where he found purpose, and after leaving Booker T. Washington High School during 9th grade, he became fully immersed in street life. Fast money looked far more realistic than promises about a distant future, and before long, that lifestyle brought serious legal consequences. Over the next several years, Dominique faced multiple drug-related arrests, including charges involving possession with intent to distribute. Those cases eventually led to a prison sentence that kept him behind bars for roughly 2 years. Listen to this. That chapter could have defined the rest of his life, but instead, it became the moment that changed everything. Time away from the streets forced him to reflect in ways he never had before. By the time he returned home in 2016, the determination was different. He wasn't chasing survival anymore. He was searching for a real opportunity. And that's where the music finally entered the picture. While Dominique was incarcerated, Atlanta's rap scene was evolving at lightning speed, with Quality Control Records becoming one of the city's most influential labels. Coach K had already seen something special in him long before the prison sentence and believed his personality, reputation, and natural charisma could translate into music. After his release, Coach K encouraged him to step into the studio, not just to hang around, but to take recording seriously. Here's the surprising part. Lil Baby originally didn't dream of becoming a rapper. He spent time around the Quality Control camp because that's where many of his friends and respected artists were creating music. He watched recording sessions, absorbed the process, and quietly learned from the environment. Once he finally stepped into the booth himself, the people around him immediately recognized his potential. Young Thug became an important mentor. Gunna developed into one of his closest collaborators, and the momentum started building almost overnight. In April 2017, less than a year after leaving prison, Lil Baby introduced himself to the world with his debut mixtape, Perfect Timing.
Girl, think about how rare that timeline really is. Going from incarceration to attracting serious industry attention within a single year is something very few artists ever accomplish. It wasn't luck, it was preparation meeting opportunity. His authenticity connected instantly because listeners believed every word they heard. The momentum never slowed. Harder Than Hard arrived later in 2017, followed by the collaborative project To the Hard Way with fellow Atlanta rapper Marlo. Before the year ended, he dropped Too Hard, featuring the breakout record Freestyle. That song exploded online, introduced millions of new listeners to his sound, and signaled that Atlanta had found its next superstar.
Listen to this. Freestyle wasn't simply another viral single. It became the record that convinced the industry Lil Baby wasn't a temporary sensation, but an artist with lasting power. By that point, he had already released multiple projects in a remarkably short period, steadily growing a loyal audience through consistency, relentless work ethic, and an unmistakably Atlanta sound that couldn't be copied. The streets had already embraced him, and it was only a matter of time before the rest of the country followed. That breakthrough arrived in 2018 with Harder Than Ever, his first studio album. The project debuted near the top of the Billboard 200 and featured collaborations with major artists, including Drake. Their single, Yes Indeed, climbed into the upper tier of the Billboard Hot 100 and became Lil Baby's biggest record at the time. Hold up, that song did more than generate streams. It introduced his music to listeners who had never paid attention to Atlanta's underground movement, becoming a fixture on radio stations, playlists, parties, and clubs across the country. But 2018 was far from over. Later that year, Lil Baby reunited with Gunna for the collaborative project Drip Harder, and together they created one of the defining records of the era with Drip Too Hard. The single eventually earned Diamond certification, an achievement reserved for songs reaching 10 million certified units in the United States. That's an incredibly rare milestone, and one that permanently elevated both artists into hip-hop's elite. The song also reached the upper ranks of the Billboard Hot 100, strengthening their reputation as one of Atlanta's most influential rap duos. Before the year ended, Lil Baby released Street Gossip, which opened near the top of the Billboard 200 and reinforced a pattern that was becoming impossible to ignore. This wasn't an artist enjoying one lucky moment. He was stacking successful releases one after another without losing momentum. Even more impressive, his music continued to sound authentic rather than chasing whatever trend happened to be popular. In many ways, the industry began adapting to the style he helped push forward. Then came 2020, and everything reached another level with My Turn. Released in February, the album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, remained at the top for multiple weeks, and eventually earned multi-platinum certification. It also finished as the best-selling album of 2020 across all genres in the United States, an extraordinary accomplishment during a year when millions of people were consuming more music than ever before. Girl, that's the kind of achievement that separates a superstar from an ordinary chart topper. The album delivered a string of major hits, including We Paid with 42 Doug and Some to Prove, while featuring collaborations with artists like Lil Gunna, Future, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Wayne, Young Thug, and Moneybagg Yo. Together, those records highlighted Lil Baby's versatility and Atlanta's continued influence on modern hip-hop. Rather than relying on one sound, he proved he could succeed across multiple styles without sacrificing his identity. A few months later, following the nationwide protests after George Floyd's death, Lil Baby released The Bigger Picture. You won't believe this, the song became far more than another successful single. It addressed police brutality, systemic racism, and the realities he had witnessed growing up, resonating with audiences well beyond hip-hop. The track debuted near the top of the Billboard Hot 100, earned Grammy nominations, and Lil Baby directed proceeds toward organizations supporting criminal justice reform. That decision strengthened his reputation as an artist willing to use his platform for issues larger than music itself.
His momentum continued into 2021 with The Voice of the Heroes, a collaborative album alongside Lil Durk that debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. During the same period, Lil Baby appeared on Kanye West's Hurricane with The Weeknd, a performance that earned him his first Grammy Award for Best Melodic Rap Performance. After years of critical acclaim and commercial dominance, that victory represented another major milestone in his career. Then in 2022, It's Only Me debuted at #1, giving Lil Baby his third consecutive chart-topping studio album and confirming that his place among rap's biggest stars was no longer up for debate. Listen to this. Very few artists reach the level where every new release adds another chapter to music history, and that's exactly the conversation surrounding Lil Baby today. When Wham! Opened at #1 in early 2025, it reinforced the idea that his run at the top wasn't a lucky streak, but the result of years of consistency and smart decision-making. But chart success is only part of the story. The real headline is how those records turned into a powerful business portfolio. Streaming, touring, collaborations, and endorsements have created multiple income streams, with reports over the years placing his earnings among the highest in hip-hop. As his popularity grew, so did the price for a guest verse and a live performance, showing just how valuable the Lil Baby brand had become. Hold up, though, the music checks aren't the most impressive part. What separates Dominique Jones from many successful rappers is the way he began thinking beyond hit songs and toward long-term ownership. Instead of relying only on record sales, he started building businesses designed to keep producing value long after the latest album cycle. That mindset showed early with the launch of 4P, or 4 Pockets Full, which became more than just a label name. It gave him a platform to help develop new talent while expanding his influence within the industry. Artists connected to the label helped strengthen its reputation and proved that they wanted to create opportunities, not just capitalize on their own success. Then came another major move. In 2023, he introduced Glass Window Entertainment through a partnership with major label infrastructure, opening the door to larger-scale distribution, marketing support, and artist development. That's a CEO move, not just a rapper making headlines. His business interests didn't stop with music either. He stepped into Atlanta's restaurant scene with the seafood menu, creating a venture that reflected both his hometown roots and his entrepreneurial ambitions. Built with experienced partners and family involvement, the restaurant blends Southern flavors with Atlanta culture while laying the foundation for future expansion. You won't believe this. The long-term vision reportedly stretches beyond a single location. Discussions about franchising and retail products show that the goal isn't simply owning a restaurant, but building a recognizable food brand. That's the difference between chasing quick profits and creating a lasting business. Real estate has become another important piece of the puzzle. Reports indicate that Lil Baby has invested in high-value properties while also purchasing assets connected to the neighborhoods that shaped him. For many fans, that's the strongest symbol of his success because it reflects reinvesting in the same community where his story began. And when people say he owns the block, they're often talking about more than property lines. They're describing the influence created when someone's businesses, investments, opportunities, and presence become woven into the fabric of a neighborhood. Girl, that's when success evolves from fame into a legacy that can impact an entire community.